Greetings again. Um, Today's topic will be um, living your life with the pause button on. What does that mean, right? Like, that sounds like a weird thing to say. Well, it's something I've noticed a lot in people. A lot of people, especially when they get in a place they're gonna be in for a long time. Say, let's say they're in college, or to be more specifically, a job they don't like, or most usually I notice it in people who grow old. Like once you've had, you're married, you have kids, you've done the things, right? And then out of nowhere, it seems like you've just clicked a button, which is the pause button, and there's no more progress in your life. You're just eating food and waiting to die, right? And there's a problem with that, right? Which is, um, I've always been praised personally for always going for new things, always like finding things and getting interested in them and trying to be good at them. And then once I'm done or I got my fix, I either put it on like the to do whenever I want list, or I just go ahead and continue, um, and proceed to become very good at and excel at them. And in both cases, there's always a new thing I'm going for. I'm always praised for having a lot of projects I'm working on and all that. Um, and I've always found that confusing because isn't that what you're supposed to do? Aren't you supposed to continue discovering new things? Um, like, don't you get bored otherwise? Don't you like reach a point where it's like, okay, things are too bland, stale, and old. Let me innovate. And I don't see this pattern stopping. I don't see me I'm 35 or I'm 40 and I'm like, I think I've done enough. Now it's all about waiting, right? I always want to do something new. I always want to improve. I always want to like either improve something I already know, or I start a new thing once I like because the other things don't interest me. Now, a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people seem to live life in like this linear fashion, like like it's like a chore they need to get through. And when you're doing a chore, you want to be as comfortable as possible. You have your headphones on. You automate it in such a way that it's comfortable, and you just wait for it to pass. And once you're done with it, it's like, "Whew, that was over. Now I can do whatever I like." And it seems a lot of people are just stuck in that mentality. So, like in college, it's pause mode just until I graduate, and then when you get a job, once I have enough money, and then once you have money, you're too old to do anything. So you're like, oh no, it's too late for anything. What? Pick up an instrument. If only I did that 30 years ago. Let me let me like regret the fact that I didn't do it 30 years ago instead of actually doing it now. And then people die. That's it. And I've always found that confusing. Like, how do you put yourself in that trap, right? And to me, I'm trying to like this is the pattern I've noticed. A lot of people like get into it, which is just a pattern of self-defeatedness. Like don't do the things you like because life forced you into this trap, and then once you can do them, oh, I started them too late. It's too late to me to do anything. Might as well just sit there and and sit in the comforts and like pick up a hobby that's simple, like collecting. Oh, let's collect stamps or cards or figurines or whatever, or collective old videotapes or classic CDs of songs. And you're like, why? Like, do something. Like at least like if you're gathering a desk, how about like a bunch of musical CDs? How about you have a taste in music and you're proud of that, and you're trying to improve on your genre, and then maybe like one of these special people who have the actual mental capacity to watch through hundreds of records and know the history of everything, and then they make a book on the Beatles, and their entire history because they're fans and all that. Like, you can be that. Instead, you're just there. And I guess this video is basically a word of encouragement. You can't live life on a pause button. If you're at school and you have an instrument you want to work on it on your free time, whatever you can. And that's something I did. Like I recently graduated from college, but anybody who knows anything about me knows that I spent 5 years with college at the backside of my head, and me working on like literally everything else. And when somebody asks me, why aren't you focusing on college, which is your future, I always tell them the same thing, which is nothing I'm gonna get from college will stick with me, because the job will teach me. My job in college is to learn the language and the simple, like the things that will stick. And then when I get into a job, that's when I learn how to actually do anything. That's why jobs look for experienced people after you don't get out of college ready. You have to be trained. So, um, as far as I'm concerned, how about I work on the skills that will actually benefit me later on once I have the budget to sustain them. So, um, throughout my entire college career, I never paused a single hobby. I did everything I wanted to do, and I find people who don't ridiculous, honestly. And unless like your career is engineering, then your passion is your career. Or, I said engineering, but any college discipline you've chosen, your passion is your career. Great, focus on that. That's not pausing. But oh, I'm gonna get a job, I'm gonna get some money, and then I'm gonna use it to, like, start a YouTube career. But you never get around it. Or I'm gonna paint. You never get around it because work is so stressful. I don't have time. And that's a huge problem with people. It's like, I don't have time, everything is too sleepy, and blah blah. And I'm like, there's always a way out. You can plan this, right? You can do something to reach the point you want to reach. And if you can't, you do small things, baby steps to get you towards your goal. And as long as you're progressing, you're not on pause, you're fighting, right? But people don't fight. People like sit around and do nothing and just give in to the fact that they can't do anything, and then they end up tired, they end up broken. And when they can't do things, all they do is they do regret. And I love, I think I heard this from Professor Daniele Bolelli, which is regret is masturbation for your brain. When you sit and you just sit there and just, the things I could have done if only. And then you just sit in that period and you dream about what you could have been, instead of actually working on what you actually can do now. So, yeah, that's my topic today. Don't live life on a pause. Go, move. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on the issue. And YouTube stuff, like, comment, share, subscribe, whatever. And I'll see you guys on the next one.